Welcome to the final episode of AI Data Center Academy. We have been on a journey. We started by understanding the workload, why training is a synchronous, brutal beast. We designed the topology. We selected the silicon. We fought the protocol wars. We rewired the physical layer for 100 kilowatt per rack. We secured the perimeter with DPUs and we turned on the lights with streaming telemetry. You now possess the technical components, but components don't build a data center. Principles do. If you leave this series with only one thing, it shouldn't be how to configure BGP, it should be the mindset of an AI architect. In this finale, we are going to write the architect's playbook. I am going to give you the 5 core design principles that must guide every decision you make. Then we're going to look at the bleeding edge. We are going to talk about in-network computation, where the switch actually does the math, and exotic future topologies like HammingMesh and RailX that might replace the fat tree. And finally, we will wrap up with the strategic trade-offs, InfiniBand versus Ethernet, integrated versus disintegrated. This is the framework you will use to spend your budget. This is episode 9, the future. Let's finish strong. Let's codify what we've learned. These are your non-negotiables. Principle 1. Embrace holistic co-design. The era of silos is dead. You cannot design the network in a vacuum. In a traditional data center, the facilities team built the room and the network team filled it. In an AI factory, power and cooling dictate the network. If you choose a rail optimized topology that requires 5-meter copper cable, but your cooling design forces racks to be 10 meters apart, your design fails. You must work in lockstep with facilities, compute, and storage teams from day zero. Principle 2. Predictability over peak performance. This is the hardest shift for old school engineers. We love line rate. We love max throughput. But in AI, tail latency is the only thing that matters. A network that runs at 400 gig with zero jitter is better than a network that bursts to 800 gig but drops packets. Why? Because of the stragglers. The slowest link dictates the training speed. Prioritize switches with shared buffer. Evaluate scheduled fabrics. Optimize for worst case scenario, not the best case. Principle 3. Default to open standards. Proprietary tech is seductive. It works out of the box. But AI is a long game. Whenever possible, lean towards Ethernet, the Ultra Ethernet Consortium, and OCP hardware. This gives you supply chain resilience. It gives you a roadmap to 1.6T and 3.2 terabit from multiple vendors. It prevents you from being held hostage by a single supplier's pricing model. Principle 4. Instrument everything. An AI fabric cannot be a black box. If JCT slows down by 10%, you need to know why in seconds. You need streaming telemetry. You need to track buffer depth. You need to track ECN marks and PFC frames at nanosecond scale. If you can't measure it, you can't optimize it. And if you can't optimize it, you are burning GPU hours. Principle 5. Future-proof the physics. The hardest thing to upgrade is the cabling. Do not save money on glass. Install high-density single-mode fiber. Plan your cable trays for active electric cables. Plan your floor loading for liquid cooling CDUs. Build the shell for 2030, even if you're installing the gear of 2025. Now, let's look at what's coming next. Because the fat tree topology and packet switch might not be the end game. One of the trends that is coming up is in-network computation. Right now, the network moves data. But what if the network processed data? During an all-reduce operation, GPU exchanges gradients and sum them up. Why are we wasting GPU cycles doing simple addition? In-network aggregation moves this math onto the switch ASIC. The switch receives gradient from 10 GPUs, add them up in hardware, and sends back the result. Technologies like NVIDIA's Sharp do this today in InfiniBand. The UAC is working on standardizing this for Ethernet. This effectively doubles the performance of collective operations. The network becomes a coprocessor. Another trend that we are seeing evolve is the exotic topologies. We love the fat tree clause. It's robust, but it's expensive. It requires a lot of spine switches. Researchers are proposing new geometries to lower cost. One of the examples is HammingMesh. This topology allows for high bandwidth at lower cost by using a mix of short, cheap copper cables for local traffic and long fiber for global traffic. It offers high flexibility for job scheduling without the massive spine layer of a fat tree. Another one is RailX and optical circuit switching. This is radical. Instead of packet switches, we use mirrors. Optical circuit switches physically redirect beams of light. They have zero latency and infinite bandwidth transparency. RailX proposes a reconfigurable network where we use OCS to physically rewire the topology on the fly to match the communication pattern of the specific model being trained. It optimizes for both ring-based and all-to-all traffic at a fraction of a cost of a fat tree. Those are the technologies. But as an architect, you have to make decisions today. Let's wrap up with the strategic trade-offs. This is your decision matrix. First is performance versus openness. If you are a hyperscaler building a frontier model, if you're training GPT-6 and budget is irrelevant, InfiniBand is still the safe, proven choice for absolute peak performance today. But for everyone else, Tier 2 clouds, enterprise, sovereign clouds, Ethernet is the answer. The ecosystem is rapidly improving. UEC is closing the performance gap. The TCO savings and the operational familiarity makes Ethernet the long-term winner. And second is integration versus flexibility. You can buy a full stack solution. Think NVIDIA SuperPOD. You get GPUs, NVLink, switches, NICs, and cables, all from one vendor. Pros, it works. Performance is guaranteed. Support is one phone number. Cons, you're locked in. You pay a premium. You cannot swap out components. Or you can go disaggregated. You buy GPUs from one vendor, switches from Arista or Cisco, NICs from Broadcom, and optics from a third party. Pros, cost efficiency. You negotiate every layer. You control your destiny. Cons, you are the system integrator. If performance sucks, it's your problem to debug. For most large organizations with strong engineering team, disaggregation is the goal. For speed to market with smaller teams, integration wins. So, we have covered a massive amount of ground in this series. We tore down the traditional data center and rebuilt it for the age of intelligence. We learned that the network is no longer a utility, it is the constraint. It determines how fast your models learn. It determines how much power you burn. It determines your multi-million dollar investment payoff. The architect of the AI era needs to be part network engineer, part physicist, and part economist. You need to understand SerDes reaches and ROI models. You need to understand flow control and thermal dynamics. It is a daunting challenge, but it is also the greatest opportunity in the history of infrastructure. We are building the engines that will power the next industrial revolution. Thank you for watching the AI Data Center Academy. I hope this series has given you the tools, the vocabulary, and the confidence to go out and build something massive. Class dismissed.